Heaven and hell. In Christianity and Islam, after death, the soul is judged based on faith and actions during life. Heaven is described as eternal peace, joy, and closeness to God. No suffering, no pain, no fear. Hell, on the other hand, represents separation from God, often described as a place of suffering or regret. What makes this theory powerful is the idea of justice. Life is temporary, but consequences are permanent. Nothing goes unnoticed. Every action matters. For billions of people, death is not an ending, it's a final evaluation. Reincarnation. Reincarnation suggests that death is not the end of your journey, but simply a transition. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the soul, or consciousness, is reborn into a new body after death. This cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is known as samsara. Your next life depends on karma, the accumulated result of your actions. Good actions may lead to a better rebirth. Negative actions may result in a more difficult existence. The ultimate goal is not endless rebirth, but liberation from the cycle entirely, a state of enlightenment where rebirth stops. In this view, death is not something to fear, it's just another chapter. Nothingness. From a scientific materialist perspective, consciousness is created entirely by the brain. When the brain stops functioning, consciousness stops too. No thoughts, no awareness, no perception. It wouldn't feel like darkness or floating in space. It wouldn't feel like anything, because feeling itself would no longer exist. Some scientists compare it to the state before you were born. Billions of years passed before your existence, and you experienced none of it. For many, this idea is unsettling. For others, it's peaceful. Near-death experiences. Thousands of people who were clinically dead for minutes report surprisingly similar experiences. They describe moving through a tunnel toward a bright light, feeling overwhelming peace, seeing deceased relatives, or reliving their entire life in seconds. Scientists argue these experiences may be caused by oxygen deprivation, chemical reactions, or the brain shutting down in stages. But some researchers question why these experiences are so consistent across cultures. Are they simply the brain's final illusion, or a glimpse of something beyond biological life? The debate remains open. Simulation theory. What if reality itself is not base reality? Simulation theory proposes that we may be living inside an advanced simulation, similar to a hyper-realistic video game. If that were true, death might not be the end. It could be the moment you log out, or wake up outside the system. Some speculate this life could be a test, a learning environment, or even entertainment for a higher civilization. There is no proof of this theory, but as technology advances, the idea becomes harder to dismiss completely. Quantum consciousness. A more controversial hypothesis suggests that consciousness might not be entirely produced by the brain. Some researchers propose that quantum processes at microscopic levels could play a role in awareness. If consciousness is partly quantum in nature, it might not disappear instantly when the body dies. Instead, it could disperse or transition in ways we don't yet understand. However, this theory lacks strong experimental evidence. Most neuroscientists remain skeptical. Still, it opens the possibility that consciousness is more fundamental than we think. Purgatory or intermediate state. Some religious traditions describe a temporary state after death. Not heaven, not hell, but something in between. In Catholic doctrine, purgatory is a place of purification, in where souls are cleansed before entering heaven. In other traditions, it's described as a waiting period before final judgment. This theory suggests that death may not immediately determine your eternal fate. There may be a process, a transition, a preparation, ancestral spirit world. Many indigenous cultures believe the dead continue to exist in a spirit realm, but they don't disappear completely. They remain connected to the living. Ancestors may guide, protect, or influence their descendants. Death becomes a return to a greater community rather than isolation. In this perspective, you are never truly alone. You join those who came before you. It transforms death from loss into reunion, eternal return. The philosophical concept of eternal recurrence suggests that your life may repeat infinitely. Every choice, every mistake, every moment, over and over again. Whether literal or symbolic, this idea forces a powerful question. If you had to live this exact life again forever, would you be satisfied with how you're living now? It turns death into a mirror rather than an escape. Cosmic absorption. Some spiritual philosophies suggest that after death, individual identity dissolves. You don't continue as you. Instead, your consciousness merges with a universal consciousness. Like a drop of water returning to the ocean, the self disappears, but existence continues, or in a larger, unified form. This theory removes fear of punishment and fear of nothingness. It replaces them with unity.